Quarterfinal MIAA action continues for your Wellesley Raiders, starting with boys volleyball, who with a 12-7 regular season record fought hard to make it to the first round Division I South playoffs, and so, on the road, beat Barnstable, sweeping them 3-0 and earning themselves their first ever playoff victory in school history. But the real challenge begins right here as the win gets them a chance to face the number 1 seed, the unbeaten Newton South Lions. Raiders, determined to come away with a huge upset, get somewhat overpowered in the first match by the offensive precision of the Lions. Newton South quickly shows why they are 20-0 and easily take the first set 25-12. While some teams may throw in the towel, so to speak, the Raiders do not. Pushing away any possible playoff jitters, on the very next set, Wellesley plays much better, orchestrating some timely aces by Charlie Bolton and point-on kills by tri-captain Ben Cohen. Newton South has their work cut out for them and take a timeout as the Raiders cut the deficit to only 5, down 23-18. Lions do regroup, and after some great back-and-forth ball movement on both sides, the ball lands out of bounds, awarding the final point to Newton South, and they escape with the second set, 25-18. Third and possible final set to not only the game but also to their season, down 2-0, Raiders come out stronger than ever and jump out to a 5-1 lead. But Newton South fights their way back into it, retaking the lead 9-7. Wellesley as a team continues to fight, diving for the loose balls and making a huge effort, and deep into the set, the Raiders are only down 21-19. If the Lions, as the number 1 seed, believed this was going to be an easy matchup, the Raiders proved them wrong. In the end, Newton South would prevail, holding on to just barely a 25-21 win in the final set, moving on to the semifinals. But it was not an easy win, as Wellesley forced the Lions to give 100% all game. The Raiders graduate 11 seniors on their roster, many of whom contributed in helping develop the very young history of boys volleyball in Wellesley. They leave behind not only a winning season in their senior year and reaching the quarterfinals, but the leadership they instilled will remain for a long time in those who take their place. After going 17-4 in the regular season and earning the top number 1 seed in the Division I South sectionals, the Raiders baseball team made it look easy, adjusting to a new division and having 5 starters named first-team Bay State All-Stars. Now, after a first-round bye, Raiders were more than ready to leave their mark in the playoffs, and so for the quarterfinals at Sprague Field, their opponent would be the number 8 seed Franklin Panthers. So we go to the bottom third, score tied at 1, and Jack Dolan on base. Peter Stabnick at the plate crushes the ball deep to right center, and the ball lands just past the fences for a clutch 2-run homer. Getting his teammates pumped and giving Wellesley a 2-run lead, 3-1, Taylor Beckett's RBI single would score another, and it's 4-1 Wellesley. So we head to the top of the 5th, and the Panthers get a rally going here. With runners on second and third, nobody out, Franklin's Pat O'Reilly hits a laser down the middle, getting the RBI single and cutting the Panther deficit in half. Then, with runners still on the corners, catcher Jack Porter is called for catcher's interference, and another run comes across, leaving Wellesley only up 4-3. Connor Russell, in relief for starter Nir Liebenthal, strikes out the next batter, and Raiders escape the inning, barely holding on to a 1-run lead. Bottom half of the same inning, Raiders now with bases loaded and 2 out, Owen Wool at the plate, gets hit by the pitch, but that does bring home a run, and Wool gets the painful RBI. Panthers' Nick Santucci again has difficulty on the mound, and this wild pitch allows pinch runner Joey Roberts to easily score, and Wellesley gets some much-needed insurance runs and now lead it by the score of 6-3. So we fast forward to the top of the 7th, last chance for the Panthers and their season. Bay State Conference MVP Jack Dolan is now on the mound and easily gets 2 quick outs on a groundout and a strikeout. Now with a runner on first, pitch hitter Nick Gallo is the Panthers' last hope. But Gallo goes down swinging. Jack Dolan gets the save, and the Raiders win their 11th game in a row, moving on to the South Sectional Finals in Quincy to face New Bedford. On to boys lacrosse, who after easily getting a first-round victory, look to continue to roll through the MIAA playoffs. Their next challenge in the quarterfinals, the number 5 seed Bridgewater-Raynham Trojans. Coming in at 16-2, the Trojans had an outstanding regular season, led by their top 2 scorers, Gavin Perry and Travis Reed. Coach Batty would use a basketball strategy, instructing his players to double-team Perry and let Reed loose offensively. But would this strategy work come game time? Let's find out. After a tight opening period leaves Raiders only up 2-1, Wellesley finds themselves in some unfamiliar territory, on their home turf in the second quarter as Bridgewater-Raynham's Travis Reed leads the way, netting this goal for a hat trick and a 1-goal lead, 3-2 Trojans. Reed then scores yet another goal, and it's Travis Reed 4, Wellesley 2, but no score yet from Gavin Perry. No worries or panic on the Raiders side though, as John Carviello dishes a great pass inside to Kerry Line, who drills it in. Just seconds later, and Line returns the favor as he gets the assist and Carviello the score, and suddenly we're all tied up here. The very next face-off is won yet again by Tucker Diedrich. He passes it up ahead to John Carviello, who fires it in and scores. And if you blinked, you just missed yet another score, and Wellesley takes a 5-4 lead into the second half. After playing somewhat sloppy in the first 2 quarters, the Raiders look like a different team in the third, regaining their team composure, and just over a minute in, John Carviello sets the pace with an outstanding behind-the-back shot that nets him a hat trick and puts Wellesley up 6-4. Later in the third, Raiders start to pull away here as Sean Matthews contributes with his own assist, finding an open Jack Vanderveld in this crease, and Wellesley's now up 8-5. We jump ahead to the fourth and final quarter. One team will advance to the sectional semifinals, the other would sadly see their season come to a close. Carrying a 10-6 lead into this final frame, Wellesley puts the pedal to the metal. Watch here as Aiden James, while falling down, somehow still shoots it almost from his knees, and he scores, and it's 11-6 Raiders. Later, now the score 13-6 Wellesley. Goalie Tim Rahill, outstanding yet again behind the net, makes an incredible point-blank save. And the Raiders immediately push the ball upfield, and in a bang-bang play, defenseman TJ Noonan scores a rare goal, and it's now 14-6 Wellesley. Bridgewater-Raynham senses the urgency to the limited time remaining to their outstanding season, and after almost 4 full quarters, top scorer Gavin Perry finally scores his first and only goal of the game after being double-teamed all afternoon, but his team is still down 14-7. Bridgewater-Raynham's Cam Goodrich would add another score quickly after, making it back-to-back Trojan goals, but it would all be too little too late as Coach Batty's game plan works perfectly. Travis Reed does score an amazing 6 goals, but Gavin Perry is held to only 1, for a total of 18 goals. Wellesley's defense steps up when needed, and the Raiders hold on, winning 14-8 at Sprague, as they knock off a very talented Bridgewater-Raynham team, advancing to the Division I South Sectional Semifinals to face the number 1 seeded Dragons at Duxbury. I'm Natalie Hart. Stay tuned for more exciting MIAA Wellesley sports coverage right here on Raiders Sports Report.